your karma to what you did to the African people and the African race. That's the only credit score I'm keeping. But he has told us that we need a mortgage, and then after we pay the mortgage and get the house and do everything he told us to do, to go about the limited way of how we're going to experience the all is ours. Because as soon as you come out your mama's womb, the all is yours. Y'all don't hear me? Everything you see is a part of your conscious reality, and that is your title and deed to existence. I'm going heavy today. But he tells you there's a limited way by which you must achieve the things that are already your divine inheritances and yours by nature. And he plays these little petty games like he's the grand distributor of wealth and of material. And he got us standing in lines and operating in his system to get wealth, to get material. And then even after we get the material, he said, you can do it. If you do this, you get this, you go to school. Every damn thing he says is a lie. You get your credit score for the house, all that, you pay your mortgage, and guess what? It's foreclosed. You work for all your plans that you're supposed to get, your 401k plan and all the money you're supposed to get, and then you work all those years and then the money's not even there. So he's lying to you when he tells you that he can guarantee you something that you cannot guarantee by your conscious realization of who the fuck you are. Do you see the lie? I can do for you. The only one that can do for you is the first entity that breathed when you came out your mama's womb. Do you hear what I'm saying? He didn't give you that breath. You on your own now. You on your own now. But the self that has been created through the schooling, through hours and hours of TV, through associations of limited-minded Negroes, that self must die daily. And it must die moment to moment when fear arises. This is a spiritual discipline of going beyond fear. This is the immortal way. This is the immortal way. In the Wudang temple, their desire is to become immortal and to become a god, to go beyond limitations. That's the whole practice of the Wudang. That's the difference between Shaolin and Wudang. The Shaolin temple, they deal with what? The Buddha. It's Buddhism. They pray to the Buddha, devotion to the Buddha. In the Wudang temple, your purpose is to actually become a god yourself and to become an immortal entity. How do you do that? By going beyond the fears and limitations that you have. Your attachment to morality versus your existence being an eternal stream of consciousness. Consciousness never dies. You think a negative thought, then you have another one. The negative thought was limited. The stream of consciousness is infinite. Some people see themselves as a negative thought and not the stream of consciousness. That's the difference. Because they attach themselves to the negative thought, not going beyond it into the infinite stream of conscious possibility. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? There is life after death. I'm not talking about after physical transformation. I'm talking about there's life after death. Somebody asked me the other day, and I like to bring this up. They said, well, where do you go after you die? I said, where is death? It is in the mind. Think of something else. Now where are you after death? Do you understand the point I'm making? Because physically the body does not move anymore. That has nothing to do with death. Death was something made up by the religious. The whole concept of death was made by those who had fear and lack of understanding and lack of willingness to go beyond the illusion. Y'all know what I'm saying? Death was invented. Somebody laying on the ground doesn't signify the end of anything as in scientific evidence. Scientifically, it signifies your heart is not beating, the body is not moving. But where's the consciousness? Where's the consciousness? Death is supposed to be what? According to them, the end of existence, the end of life. But yet we cannot fathom the end of anything. The mind was not made up to hold an end. We cannot see end. There is no end in mind. Mind has no end. Am I lying? But if you let somebody put one in there, then now you have this conceptual thought called end. But paint it. Paint the end. And you just shed light on a new beginning. Do you understand what I'm saying? The end is not a real thing. There's no end in anything. He makes up an end. He don't let you, you're not courageous enough to navigate through real existence without his GPS system called fear of death. You take his fear of death versus the actualization of life. There's two ways you can live: the fear of death or the actualization of life. The fear of death is immobilizing. The actualization of life is your real becoming. Do y'all see the difference? When you become a Christian, you're living out of the fear of death. When you become a God, you're living out of what? Self-actualization. You're open and willing to actualize the totality of what you are. Fear is what? Closing yourself off to reality based upon a thought that somebody else gave you. Well, when you die, you go into hell. Have you been there? Have anybody returned from this hell?
No.
Did somebody come back from the end? And if life has an end, why am I still going? When did it end? It couldn't have ended. It couldn't have never ended if it's going on now. When did it begin? Do you remember when it began? One moment you just woke up and it was there. You don't even know when it began. I said, well, some people say, well, we began when we came out of our mama's womb. Right? We was born and that was our beginning. I said, do you remember the exact point you came out of your mama's womb? So if you don't remember that beginning, which was your birth physically, how do you know you're not remembering the non-beginning before that? You don't remember beginning, so you don't remember non-beginning either. I'm teaching. You never began. You awakened to your existence. At some point, the child has no memory. It has a short-term memory. They're born, we don't remember what we did. Some people don't remember what we did when we was 1 year old. It was 4 months. But the child evolves and awakens to its existence. Life did not begin when you awoke. Your life did not begin when you awakened to it. Because physically we know you was a baby, and we know before that you were sperm. But you don't remember being a sperm. You don't remember being in your father's testicles. You don't remember flowing in the ocean of your father's bloodstream. You understand what I'm saying? But that was existence. That was your real existence. But you say you have beginning. You don't remember beginning, so you don't remember non-beginning. And if there's no beginning, how can there be an end? We will return back to non-beginning. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying? I'm going heavy now. Your end will be your return to non-beginning, which is your rebirth into eternity. Those who can have a glimpse of that in this life will be powerful, because the power of eternity will channel itself through this finite existence. We're not allowing it through because we have blocked it with fear. We have blocked it with a false construct. We have blocked it with somebody else's mental and religious paradigm. We have blocked it in everything we do. We do it out of that fear. It's backed by that fear. The European himself, he doesn't have that. He could not have came all the way to Africa if he had all that fear. He didn't know where the hell he was going. He had to kill his goddamn self and get in that boat. When he came over here to these Native Americans, he didn't know what the fuck these Native Americans was going to do to him. Really, did he? He had to kill his goddamn self. He had to kill the limited perspective of who he was and be born into the eternal possibility. Because your limited perspective will always tell you that you cannot. It will tell you what you cannot do, and it will continue to exaggerate what you would consider to be your weakness, which is only a weak perspective of yourself. Do you hear me? You have no real weaknesses. Your weaknesses is nothing but a weak perspective of your true self. People talk about what we can't do. Some people have went through certain health conditions. They have aged in certain ways. Physically, they're not the same as they were as when they were 10 years old, according to their mind. They have a belief in what they can't do. That's the only difference. They have a belief of what they're supposed to be and what they're limited to do. I'm saying, as far as health, wealth, and happiness for the black man, there are no real limits. Every perceived limit can be transmuted into the unlimited. Every perceived limitation can be changed into the unlimited. When you die, you're changed to the unlimited. So you mean to tell me, if death means you are changed into the unlimited, life should be changing the limited into the unlimited. Every moment, life should be the process of changing the limited into the unlimited, the limited perspective to the unlimited perspective. And you know what happens? You're killing your goddamn self every time you do that. Every time you take the limited perspective and transform it into an unlimited perspective, you're killing your damn self. That's why people don't want to be open-minded, because they know they have to die. They know open-mindedness means death. It means death, because who they thought they was and what they was limited and couldn't do, that dies when you open your mind. Every little attachment, everything you fixed yourself to and felt like that, this is it. The holographic fourth dimensional reality that was a representation of your limits. That hologram must die when you open your mind. That hologram is projected by a limited mind. When you change that mind, the hologram dies. Give you an example. You say you can only eat meat to live. That's a thought. That I need to eat meat. I cannot be a vegetarian or I'm going to die. When you change your mind, the fat motherfucker die. The fat person don't want to die. So he fights his hunger pains. He fights as a social network of other fat motherfuckers that say, yeah, you do need meat. He dies to that group consciousness. He dies to that parallel universe. Do you see what I'm saying? The person who says, well, I'm crazy as hell, that's why I smoke weed. When they stop smoking weed, the crazy motherfucker gonna have to die and they're gonna have to get it together. And how does the crazy person keep going? He keeps acting crazy as hell the further you get away from weed. And the network of crazy motherfuckers is saying, we gotta keep smoking this now. You die to that paradigm and that social network. Do y'all follow what I'm saying? Every radical change causes death to the ego. Who you are is an ego. We've become an ego. And our life is a cycle of transitioning from egos to egos. That's why when you meet somebody and they say, I don't realize you no more, they're not lying. Because who they was looking for died. And you became somebody else. They're looking for an ego. They come and see me and say, man, you don't love money no more? You ain't getting money like that?